Oh, hello guys, welcome back. I noticed something on Facebook. There are certain times, as Americans, if you're part of a temple or you're part of an organization, you expect them to step forward and say something. And I've noticed that none of these Greek temples ever step forward and say something. I thought, yeah, leave it to the Lokeans. We love doing the heavy work nobody else wants to do. Um, In a way, I could see why. They're human like the rest of us and they don't want to get involved in it. But in another way, if you're going to take on a supposed position of leadership or guidance, you have to be there in not so fun times. I did attend the funeral. It's still going on now. There was only so much I could watch. My father was buried with military honor, so it was hard for me. It was hard because as you get older, you learn to let go of stuff that bothers you, so it's hard to see, a man having to attend his father's funeral and, his best friends there. It doesn't matter if you like these people or not. You feel human empathy for them. And I felt the gods with us, and Loki tried to cheer me up, but mostly they felt solemn and sad. The gods don't dance around when someone dies, whether we personally like that or not. It doesn't affect the gods. And it's a thing to deal with. And it's a thing where I realize younger people have no idea of protocol because, you're there trying to attend a funeral, even though you're attending it online, and people are like, yeah, but I want my question answered now. So I'm attending this funeral and I'm trying to go into Google and I'm trying to turn off my notifications so I don't get bothered during a funeral. I'm like, what's wrong with you young people? Um, I think we've lost that. I think we've lost respect for things. People were grumbling because today we have no mail service in the United States. Yes, it's an inconvenience, but dying is more of an inconvenience. And I think if everything was equal, Bush would have rather not got his mail for a day. I'm pretty sure. Christian faith or not, I'm sure, had he been able to not get his mail today and then been able to enjoy his family one day more, I'm sure that would have been more preferable for him. I can't tell you how it is that some people get to lie in state and some people don't. I realize that not every president has, line in state. I don't think they have. I'm not quite sure. I'm not absolutely up on the politics of that. But, it was interesting to see the funeral, to see, people's emotions. I'm glad they didn't do with that funeral what they have done with some funerals of public figures in the past, where it becomes a list event and all these famous people attend, and it almost becomes a spectacle about the people attending, and it's almost not about the, person you're there for the funeral. If you're old enough, you know what I mean. You've seen quite a few funerals where it's almost a Broadway production and there's all these people singing and doing all this stuff, and it doesn't really seem to be about the person passed away. Yeah, they're sad, but it's more, commentators droning on about all the famous people there and, all these famous acts that showed up to perform. And I didn't see as much of that this time, which was good. I did not attend the whole funeral. I just got upset to the point where I was like, I have to respectfully leave. I did get to see a good part of it. Um, and it's hard, and we all deal with, we deal with death in our own way. I'm sure he's with, his divinity, and, Baron was trying to comfort me. Baron's like, he's not that box share, and I'm like, I know, but it's still a thing. You have to give respect, whether you liked him as a president or not. It's a thing that we have to show respect when someone dies. For me personally, I don't want anything. You can take me, dump me in the woods for all I care, but for people that have, either asked for this respect or they've, somebody's planned it, then it's suitable to, show respect and attend the funeral. And For everyone, it's going to be different. With me, the gods were very respectful because they know I have that respectful nature towards, death, having, worked with a lot of underworld gods, and they weren't, here horsing around or making rude comments. You'll note that YouTube disabled comments, or the channel disabled comments in the chat section. The more funerals you attend, the more you'll learn about human nature. And unfortunately, a lot of people see one final chance to take all their grievances about this person out, and they will very loudly, while the family is there trying to mourn, tell everyone else what they don't like about this person. That's rude and that's disrespectful, and I hope it happens at their funeral too. It's very disrespectful to do that to the dead. There's a time and a place to air your grievances. It's not the funeral. It's not at a final party for that person. If they had a final party while they were alive, you keep your mouth shut. There will be time in the future that you can bitch and complain all you want for all eternity. Don't do it at the funeral. That's disrespectful. But that's why they actually shut down the comments section, because you know how people are in YouTube. If you have faith in humanity, go in the YouTube section. You stop having faith in humanity. But it's a time to, weigh our own values. What do we feel? Do we feel, as pagans, how did we feel about, it being a Christian ceremony? To me, it didn't matter, but I know to a lot of pagans, it would have really upset them. Everybody has to be buried in their own faith. I would say it would have been decidedly odd if he had been practicing an open pagan if they would have had a Christian ceremony, but they didn't. Gods only know that if I died today, they would probably have a nice Christian ceremony for me not knowing any better. Probably put 2 to 2 together if they walked in here and saw all the altars, but they might not recognize them as altars. A lot of people collect Greek and other statues, and it doesn't mean that they're practicing pagans. They just think his stuff is pretty. So, it's just food for thought, and we can't always rely on those we think are leaders or we think are temples or something else to come forward with comfort or to come forward with advice at times like this. I was really surprised and disappointed, but I thought there have been quite a few times I've expected the temples to say something that, something related to a particular god or goddess, and the temples didn't come forward. That might be them being weary on their part, because anything you say anymore in public can be misconstrued and then it leads to attacks. Or just might be that the temples don't care to come forward and act in that capacity. Remember, I was raised Catholic, so I see it as a job of any religious organization to come forward in a person's time of need and comfort them. I've noticed some pagan groups don't seem to do that so much, which is a pity, because it's a human need. It's not a Christian need. It's not a Buddhist need. It's a human need to be comforted in, times of loss or tragedy. So I hope you are doing as well as you can be expected to be, whether you love this man or not. It's still a loss for the country. It's still a time to reflect on our own mortality and to reflect on the loss of others, and to remember to have compassion for people. If we were cheering, for some strange reason, God forbid we weren't, but if we were cheering, for this funeral, or for anyone's funeral, we have to question our own moral values and how we've really sunk in that low. Loki was trying to cheer me up, saying, well, I suppose if this one or that one were to fall over dead during the funeral, there might be a party. And I said, Loki. And he was teasing. He didn't mean it. He would not mean it. But, we have to be better than that. We're not simple-minded animals. We are humans, so we have to go by our better nature. As Michelle would say, they go low, we go high. So, I hope you guys like what you see. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you later. And, just take care. Bye-bye.